Hey everyone! So I'm outside, so you'll be able to hear the beautiful doves that are singing here and also just other outside noises. It's too gorgeous of a day here in Arizona to not embrace it and enjoy it. Today I'm going to discuss the question or the idea that, are our thoughts really ours? And I will say that, yes, at the end of the day, they really are. But what could be causing them? What could be making them create the way that they are creating in our mind, right? So, to let you know, our thoughts at the end of the day are really ours. They are. However, sometimes people impact us in other ways. The collective impacts us in other ways. So that's what I'm going to discuss, how that goes, and maybe how to start becoming aware and how to move out of that. Stay tuned with me, and I'm going to keep explaining all of this. So as you may be aware, we all have numerous thoughts throughout the day, really. And how aware are you of them? From my perspective, right now I'm experiencing a flood of mindfulness and meditation practices because our collective is experiencing a lot of dis-ease from many spectrums. And that could really look like cyclical thinking, overthinking, overreacting. It could be really too much, especially with what's happening all over the world right now. And so consider, as we overthink and overreact, it actually has a tendency to create dis-ease in the body and potentially could manifest as disease. So that's my belief system. And I mean, are you thinking too much, maybe over analyzing and acting in a way that you know isn't really your highest and best? The common theme in my one-on-one readings that comes through for the person and the higher collective that they're guiding them in is this pattern can cause more and more stress on the body, keeping you in a constant adrenaline mode, which we know through science, right? That fight, flight, freeze, or fawn states of being. So we're aware of all of this, right? But are you aware of how it's manifesting in your body? So as you think, so you feel, so you act. And the subconscious mind is so literal. It responds to the mental images that you're feeding yourself. So you think of a stressful thought, it comes in as an image, goes into the mind, then the body responds to that, and then you act out from that state, right? And so that's what's causing us to feel a certain way. Okay, so I briefly explained how that kind of works, right? So thumbs up, right? Okay, let's break it down a little bit more, okay? So energy is literally everything, literally everything. We are connected to the all and everything, and including each other, plants and animals. Depending on the frequency, we can understand a little bit of this. So I want you to think of the brain and the nervous system right now. We are the nerves that are connected to that big brain that's informing each of us. And so in a sense, like let's say it's like kind of helping us to kind of break down that channel to go pick up that pencil, so to speak, right? So that can get into a bigger thought, but keep that in mind and consider telepathic communication. We have the ability to connect to each other in this way, to communicate to each other in this way. And a simple example of this would be when you think of somebody and you might want to call them, or you just are like thinking about them, and a day or two later they reach out to you, or you bump into them and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you. The other simple example is, man, you just read my mind. I was just thinking that, right? I mean, that's just a bigger aha like that. So just giving you that. And so the big brain sent that message down the nervous system track, and gave you, or many of you, the same message that you might need to connect. There might be something in that conversation, that interaction that needs to happen. And in my belief system, there are no coincidences. We're all being moved in a direction that is going to evolve our soul's evolution, and we're getting information from the higher realms through thoughts, through experiences, in order for us to become aware of our patterns, to become aware of our inner self so that we can start to sift through that, and then we can enjoy this experience much more once we get to that stage of awareness, right? So something else to consider. Our thoughts are basically massive speakers, just massive speakers, who are, and those who are in a calm state can pick up on some of that, okay? And another example of this is someone comes to your thoughts and they could be going through something and needing something, and a friend, they need a friend to reach out, and they see how you're doing. And I know, at least in my personal experience, people have out of the blue just reached out to me when I've been in lows, have no idea what I'm going through. I haven't even talked to them in a long time, and they're like, hey, Nat, you've been coming to my mind a lot lately. How are you doing? And even sometimes, you know, I haven't seen you in a while, but I just think about you. So I want to know what's going on. Let's get together, you know, stuff like that. So it's just interesting to start observing. And I love it when I hear people say to me, I know I'm special too. Like, I have gifts. I'm intuitive. I might not use them the way you do, but I know I really get things. I understand things. I pick up on stuff. I have dreams. That's the thing. We're all intuitive. We're all connected. You know, I am merely somebody who is just coaching you through this. You know, I am helping you to understand this because I too am in this awakening process, right? So we're all badass human beings who have abilities that have been forgotten, maybe hidden and thought of as witchcraft, and, you know, so on. And, you know, it took me a long time to come out as a medium psychic because of my upbringing in Catholicism and how it was such thought as witchcraft and evil and the devil, and, you know, me being fearful of being burned at the stake type of thing, because that's past life consciousness, because I was burned at the stake. I was hunted down in past life regressions that I've seen. So it's something that is a very visceral fear that I experience. So that's something that you might be going through, not wanting to explore because of those fears. So when people say to me, how special your gifts are, my gosh, I'm like, yes, thank you. And you can do this too. It really kind of is a struggling point for me because, you know, I do my best to dive into this. This is where I am putting my energy into, to dive in. I'm here to help you in your awakening, and I develop my abilities. But you do the same in all of your other endeavors. It's something that you're putting a focus on. And I'm here to assist you in that awakening once that calling comes, okay? You can think of me as like a nurse bringing you back to consciousness. Moving on, sometimes we are picking up on other people in many different ways. I mean, there's so many ways to go about this. But another way that is common recently, when you're in someone's auric field, whether it's through thought, whether it's through conversation, whether it's through being around them, even if you don't even know them, it can rub up on you because of their state, what they're running, what they're going through. And it hits our auric field, causes like a ripple effect, starts like impacting our well-being, our thoughts, and everything like that. And so it's impacting you in an unhealthy way because whatever they're running, and equally you're doing that to them, okay? So keep in mind, if one person isn't doing well mentally and emotionally, none of us are, really. And those who are, you know, holding it together are going through stuff too, because we're trying to dig in deeply and go through those layers and levels that we can't see through the naked eye, that are in our inner psychology, to bring out that shadow to help that. And a great example that comes to mind is like you woke up in a great mood, things are in flow, they're going well, and later you're in a wonky mood, in a lower mood, and unsure what kind of tipped you off. Oh, that was a dove that went by. What tipped you off? What was that switch, right? And it could have been you traced it back to a conversation or an interaction that you've had, or a thought of somebody that you had, a thought about somebody that you had, and the rest of the day it turned a bit wonky. So running, and it could look like you're running unhealthy affirmations, like I can't do this, it's too much, and so on and so forth. So you want to become aware of that And becoming aware of that helps you to notice what triggers you, what's going on, and you can start sifting through your own inner psychology and understand like, hey, this is a piece of my shadow that needs to be worked on, okay? So again, there's so many approaches to this situation. What throws you into a tizzy? These are just some examples. So something to really understand, it's unhelpful to blame anybody else and place responsibility on other people for how you're feeling, okay? It's more important to heal what's going on inside of you, to recognize what's happening, how other situations are triggering anxiety, fears, what ifs, so on and so forth. You want to make sure that you're getting all of that out, purging it, understanding that, getting into the present, recognizing it, healing it, so that, we come into alignment with peace and harmony, balance really, so that we can then anchor in that. And you do that through unplugging from thoughts, from external things. And we're never not connected. And you hear lingo in the spiritual community of like, connect to this, connect to that. We're already connected. We're already connected. It's actually more important to unplug from the external and from screens, really, and remember your connection to divinity, to divine energy. Go within, notice your own channel, the thoughts, observe those thoughts that are unhealthy, weed them out, pull them out, and focus on your divine connection. Stop thinking that these thoughts are all ours, whether they're harmful or whatever. Stop thinking they're ours. Think of them as the collective, and your part in this is taking responsibility for your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and then we can start anchoring in more love and light to the greater collective. So I hope that brings you a little bit of clarity about what you might be going through in this massive energy shift that we're all experiencing. So remember to heal your internal being in your mental thoughts, that shadow work. And the more you heal this inner world, we heal the external. Okay, so I want to leave that with you all. Love and light. If you have any questions, please comment below. Also, give this a thumbs up. You know that every time that somebody gives it a thumbs up, more people can see it because that's how algorithms work. But remember, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with us. We're just one massive thing, that's one massive consciousness that is in this transformation. And we do that by tipping the scales, by coming into balance, understanding what's happening into us internally and transmuting that into something more beautiful, embracing our darkness and showing that darkness the light that's within us, okay? So again, leaving that with you. Love and light.